Give me a sense of the volume of videotape and photographic evidence and recordings you have.
I've been sent just unsolicited via email and direct message on social media, videos and pictures and stuff. So we're trying to sift through all that. So I couldn't even give you an estimate. Yesterday there was an individual who did not want to reveal who she was, but was texting me video after video after video from some of these so-called freak-offs. And I'm just looking at this stuff like, man, I wish this weren't on my phone, number one. And number two,
she was texting you on your personal phone.
Yeah.
Videos of these freak-offs.
Yeah. Yeah. And
what does that say to you that somebody unsolicited feels so strongly about what's happened to her and others that she would send this material to you?
I don't want this stuff on my phone, but
no,
man,
of course not.
I'm trying to figure out the context. Like, who are these people doing these things that you would typically wouldn't see, and obviously you couldn't show it to anybody in public. It's pretty graphic.
How many of your victims, Mr. Busby, were underage, were minors at the time of the offenses?
25 of the 120. And you would think that we're talking about females, but I was surprised because I just expected these were all females. But of the 120 people, half are males, and of the minors, about half are males as well. We have a young man who was 9 years old at the time this occurred.
9 years old, Mr. Busby.
9 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old, a 15-year-old. All of these are, with one exception, young men who were trying to break into the industry. Him, along with 4 other boys, went and were able to meet Sean Combs. And his parents essentially handed him off to Sean Combs. They alleged that they handed him off, and Sean Combs had his way with this child by coercing him and pressuring him and promising him things.
Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
2 males. And of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
This is going to be all speculation. I just want to preface it by he wouldn't know if they were. Right.
Sure.
Appeared to
Let
be.
me rephrase it.
Based on, yes.
Understand. Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appear to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8, how many appear to be potentially victimized? How many might have been victimizing?
I think all, to be honest, all.
Were victims or were perpetrating?
Victims.
They were all 8 were victimized,
yeah,
meaning
victims.
This was happening to them and they were inebriated.
Right. Not knowing, I guess, how much proof it was in it, what they was doing.
And of those 8, how many seemed to be potentially minors?
2 to 3, possibly 3.
Usher, Justin Bieber, Will Smith's son.
This is the untold story of Usher's wild introduction to fame. In 1993, music mogul L.A. Reid signed a 14-year-old Usher to L.A. Face Records. But to give the rising star that extra edge, Reid turned to none other than P. Diddy, the king of wild parties. He sent Usher to what became infamously known as Puffy Flavor Camp in New York. Usher, just 15 at the time, found himself immersed in a world far beyond his years. As he later admitted, "I saw some pretty wild stuff I didn't even understand." From lavish parties to curious things behind closed doors, Usher was exposed to a life few teenagers could imagine. Years later, Usher would reflect on his time with Diddy, saying, "Hell no," when asked if he'd send his own children to the same camp. And now, in light of shocking allegations against Diddy, that controversial period in Usher's life is under renewed scrutiny. While the Flavor Camp transformed Usher's sound and swagger, questions still linger about the darker side of the industry.
Here's your icon alert. It's called He's Bad Boy Now. It's called Don't Ever Play Yourself. I'ma break it again. Let's keep it inside. Stays outside.
So I was at federal court today, 500 Pearl Street. This actual entrance is on the Worth Street side. And what you're about to see are the family members, the children, and the mother of Sean Diddy Combs showing up to show their support for him inside the courtroom there on the 26th floor. So the judge heard from the prosecutors who say Diddy is a dangerous individual, does not belong on the streets, does not even deserve to be under house arrest at this point. The prosecutor also cited threats that he was making to witnesses and that he was intimidating witnesses even from behind bars. So her argument was, if he can't be trusted behind bars, what about when he's free? On Diddy's side, they said that he's at a tremendous disadvantage to get a fair trial because he hasn't even been able to go through all of the evidence that they have against him because it's digital, it's on a laptop, and he was just given the laptop today after 66 days behind bars. So the family, the kids were inside. They took up a row. Here comes his mother coming out of the Sprinter. And they just showed unity. They stayed silent. They were very dignified. It was nice to see also the U.S. Marshals and the court giving them some space and some protection and an escort as they were going in so that they didn't have press people or photographers or even just people that show up to the court to see what's going on, trying to chase after them. So that was today.
You shot great, but you shot late. Holla at me. This is the Rundown Podcast.
I'm gonna give you the rundown. I'm gonna give you the rundown.
Say man, hey man, it's OG Jucario. Now back at you with another one. And I had to come slide on the YouTube block because we shall be finding out this week, very soon, what the judge is gonna decide and whether P. Diddy, the diddler, shall get a bond, a bail or not, you guys. And when he went to this bail hearing on last Friday, the judge was the one that postponed it, until the following week. Like I said, this week we shall know. And a lot of people feel like, the judge even considering, going over the paperwork and, waiting a couple of days to make the decision could very well mean that the diddler could be let go and back on the prowl again, you guys. Wow. Yeah. Now, the attorney for the victims, Tony Busby out of Houston, Texas, says he has minors that are filing cases, right, from, when they were minors at the time. I'm pretty sure that they're adults now. Now, this all goes back to Puffy Flavor Camp, right? A place where he would scout young talent, right? Very young children, and some of them in their teens, but these are all minors that he was grooming, as they say, to be artists in the music industry. And some of these victims are claiming that Diddy, right, fondled them and took up on an inappropriate relationship with these minors. And now they're suing Diddy the diddler for what happened and his actions. And he must be held accountable for if these things are true, you guys. So Tony Busby is bringing a lot of these victims' cases and getting them filed in the courts, right? And most of them are civil. And the government has a lot of, charges on Puff Daddy with the ex-trafficking and the racketeering and things of that nature, money laundering. And as Mr. Busby was explaining in that clip that I played earlier, right? There are still victims coming out, you guys, sending Busby videos. That's right, videos of evidence of freak-offs that this one victim was sending the videos that Busby says took place, right? And Busby was, concerned about having these images, these videos on his personal cell phone, but you can't stop nobody from sending something to your phone, right? But yeah, so this is the concern of Busby because, who knows what's all on that tape and how old the people that are participating in the actual act that's going on, allegedly, right? How old these people are. Were they some, underage people at the time when these acts took place, that might be a very, very big problem for Diddy the Diddler trying to get this bail, you guys, if all this stuff is presented to the judge. Now, for people to still be sending in, video evidence of freak-offs that they were involved with Puffy the Diddler in, right? This is very telling, you guys. This is telling us that there's people out there who had their own experiences, who still haven't came forward because maybe they're not comfortable. But now it is the time to come forward, since they're piling it high up on old Puffy as far as these allegations and charges are going, you guys. These lawsuits keep on coming, right? So, this right here is very, very disturbing, and this could affect, Puff Daddy's bond as well, because, you still have people out here that are claiming that, they were taken advantage of by the Diddler, and people don't want this guy back on the streets. Now, several witnesses have come forth and are steady coming forth in this Diddy case, and a person who had evidence, tangible evidence in hand was Courtney Burgess, right? And he was the one that was said to have released the Kim Porter book, right? He has the rights since Kim passed, and by him having the book or whatever, or was given the book by her people, right? This means that Courtney Burgess has the rights to that tell-all book that Kim allegedly wrote, these memoirs that were left behind in her notepad, right? Made into a book. So, the allegations that, he had the actual flash drives, up to 11 of them, right? With these freak-off activities going on, he was naming names, you guys, right? Usher, Bieber, right? Nelly. He's going on and on and on about certain, individuals that were at these freak-offs. Snoop, Will Smith, so, at the same time, a lot of these stories are coinciding, and, they're lining up with other stories that are being told out there. And, some of these stories that are in that tell-all book, are lining up with people are saying and have been saying about the Diddler and his affiliations with these freak-off parties that he likes to have. Now, Puffy should have left that flavor camp idea alone, because Busby is saying that his youngest victim that he's representing was a 9-year-old at the time, right? Back when this flavor camp was going on. And Puffy promised him all kinds of things. Promised to make him a star, superstar, right? A ghetto superstar. Cars, clothes, money, jewelry, women, things of that nature, right? And this is a child at the time, but I'm pretty sure Puff Daddy was grooming him, poisoning his mind to the point to where Puff Daddy was basically, coercing this youngster into believing that everything he said was going to come true for him if he allowed Puffy to do whatever he wanted and take advantage of this young male boy. Wow. Now, with 25 of those victims being mostly male and minor at the time, right? I don't see why the court isn't considering this a threat or a danger. Is it because these are allegations, right? These are accusations that are being made, and there's no actual evidence that the Diddler did these things, so they're gonna overlook it and possibly give Puff Daddy a bail. Wow, really? So, hey man, say man. I mean, it's not looking good at all, because basically they screwed themselves when they went off in Puff's jail cell, right? And stormed his little old belongings and took pictures and did things that were considered illegal, right? And that gave Puff and his defense a little ammunition to fire back at the prosecution with, you guys, to use as a way to get bail. And he was also complaining about the conditions in the jail as well, right? So all this is playing a part in Puff Daddy, the Diddler, trying to get a bail today, this week, as soon as possible. Now, if Diddy indeed did the things that these people are claiming that he did back when they were minors, whether they're men or women, Diddy is a sick individual for that. And we shall see if these things shall be proven true, or maybe, these are just accusations. And like I said, with the civil cases, they don't necessarily have to be proven to be true. These are allegations and, cases that are to be settled with money, to be settled, with monetary gain involved. And now with more victims that are still doing interviews and making themselves known every day. We have the latest young lady that went by Misha. She's saying that she definitely, was a victim of Diddy's SA abuse, she came forward, she told a lot of shocking details, and she happened to be one of the individuals, the ladies that was laying on that table, and they were eating sushi off her body at that party, And we also seen a video with Meek Mill partying at his birthday party, and Diddy was the host for that. They also had another naked young lady laying on the table where they had hors d'oeuvres and sushi and things like that they were eating off her body as well. So, the claims are out that that female was definitely a minor at that time. So, who knows if, this is one of the minors that were included in that lawsuit. But, this young lady also, seems to have a story that was written to a Hollywood script, because everything she said in the interview, everything Misha said, lined up with, the movie Blink Twice. And in this movie, it seems as if, this billionaire could be Sean Puffy Combs, and playing that role as, everything is playing out in real life, with the case as far as the SA and the abuse that went on in this movie, So we're seeing this stuff play out in real time. We have a witness now that's saying that, hey, she didn't want to show her face and things, but, her pictures were out there, and they're all around the internet now. She's the one that was sitting on Puff's lap with the DG shirt on, So with her working for Puff as a minor, being trafficked, all this stuff is coming forward. But like I said, it don't seem like the judge is taking any of these people's stories into consideration when it comes to Puff getting his bail. So, hey man, we shall see if the judge should let old Diddy, the diddler, back on the streets. And in other diddler news, we have the lawyer Tony Busby finding himself in a lawsuit. That's right, a young lady has filed a lawsuit on old Busby, saying that he abused her, assaulted her, did her bad, fam. And, Busby is saying this right here is false. These are false allegations that are being made by this woman who's saying that Busby did these things to her. But it seems as if, Diddy in his defense is definitely fighting back and maybe possibly trying to find dirt on old Tony Busby and keep Busby distracted, with all these cases that are being filed on his behalf against Puff Daddy in his defense. So everybody wants to know what was on those tapes. Who was at the freak-offs? Who are these celebrities that are paying off these alleged victims? These celebrities that are doing these catch and kills after they, get exposed. Why come we can't know who these scumbags are, you guys? These perverts. Who are these people, And will they tell us? Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. But, as far as we know, some names have been dropped as far as them being involved in the Puff Daddy, be quiet. It's a freak off. Wow. Yikes. So I'm pretty sure the media will be scrambling and scraping to keep their ear to the streets to see if old Diddy will get bail today. Wow. So y'all keep it locked to OG Jucario TV for the latest in rap, hip-hop, celebrity, and urban news. You're watching the Rundown Podcast. I appreciate everybody for spinning with me. I appreciate all my subscribers for sliding with your boy every time. And say, man, hey, man, keep hitting that like button, keep hitting that subscribe button, and look, turn on post notifications so we can slide whenever I get the drop. You already know what it is, man. It's deeper than Buddha, her, you hear me? And guess what? I'm gone.